Imagine one woman changing the course of history, not with armies or guns, but with courage, deception, and a wooden leg. Her name was Virginia Hall, and during World War II, she became the most dangerous spy to the Nazis. A woman so elusive that even Hitler's secret police feared her more than any soldier. But before she became a legend, she was just a young woman with a dream that the world told her she wasn't allowed to have. Virginia Hall was born in 1906 in Baltimore, Maryland. Her family was wealthy, traditional, and strict. They expected her to become a polite lady, marry well, and live quietly. But Virginia was different. She was curious, restless, and bold. She wanted more than comfort, she wanted purpose. In her 20s, she moved to Europe to study languages and politics. She could speak French, German, Italian, and even some Russian. She was fascinated by world affairs, by the rising tensions across Europe, and she longed to make a difference. Then one day, tragedy struck. During a hunting trip in Turkey, she accidentally shot herself in the foot. The injury turned into gangrene, and doctors had no choice but to amputate her leg below the knee. She was just 27. Many people would have given up, but Virginia didn't. She learned to walk again with a wooden prosthetic, which she named Cuthbert. She even joked about it. Whenever she had to climb stairs or walk long distances, she would smile and say, "Cuthbert's complaining again." When World War II began, Virginia was already in Europe. She watched the rise of Hitler, the fall of France, and the terror spreading across the continent. She wanted to fight back. So she applied to join the U.S. Foreign Service. But when they saw her prosthetic leg, they rejected her. They said a woman with a disability was unfit for duty. That rejection didn't break her, it ignited her. Determined to serve, Virginia went to London and joined the Special Operations Executive, or SOE, the secret British spy organization created by Winston Churchill himself. Their mission was simple but deadly: set Europe ablaze. Virginia trained in sabotage, disguise, and espionage. She learned to code messages, to survive interrogation, to lie convincingly, to disappear. Her instructors couldn't believe her sharpness. Despite her leg, she could outsmart, outthink, and outrun many of her male counterparts. And soon, she was sent into Nazi-occupied France, completely alone. Her mission? Build a network of spies and help the French resistance fight back. In August 1941, under the alias of Germaine, she arrived in Lyon. To the outside world, she was a journalist writing for the New York Post, but in reality, she was running one of the most successful underground networks in Europe. Virginia set up safe houses, smuggled money, arranged fake passports, and coordinated weapons drops for resistance fighters. She sent coded messages to London that could change the course of battles. Every broadcast meant risking her life. The Gestapo constantly tracked radio signals. If they traced one to her, she'd be executed instantly. But Virginia was always one step ahead. She moved constantly, changed her appearance, and used disguises, sometimes as a milkmaid, sometimes a nurse, sometimes an elderly woman. No one suspected the quiet Limping Lady could be the most wanted spy in France. By 1942, the Gestapo had a name for her: the Limping Lady. They plastered her face on wanted posters and sent orders to capture her at all costs. One German report described her as the most dangerous Allied agent in France, and they meant it. When the Nazis began mass arrests, dozens of her allies were captured, tortured, and executed. But Virginia escaped barely. To survive, she fled south, crossing the Pyrenees Mountains on foot in the middle of winter with her wooden leg. Imagine climbing icy cliffs, starving, exhausted, hunted, dragging a prosthetic leg through the snow for 3 days. That was Virginia Hall. But here's where the story turns controversial. When Virginia finally reached safety in Spain, the British didn't exactly welcome her as a hero. Some officials questioned her methods. They thought she was too independent, too reckless, and even too successful for a woman. Some male officers felt threatened by her results. They tried to push her into a desk job, claiming she'd done enough. But Virginia refused. She didn't fight the Nazis to type memos. She joined the OSS, the American intelligence agency that would later become the CIA. And against all odds, she went back into France again. This time, her disguise was flawless. She dyed her hair gray, wore shabby clothes, and pretended to be an old milkmaid named Marcel Montaigne. She even filled her teeth to look older and walked with a limp more pronounced than usual. No one recognized her, not even the Gestapo agents who had been hunting her for years. Under this disguise, she rebuilt the resistance network that the Nazis had destroyed. She coordinated parachute drops, trained fighters, and planned sabotage missions that crippled German supply lines. Her intelligence reports guided Allied operations before D-Day and saved thousands of lives. But controversy followed her again. Some OSS officers thought her operations were too bold. They doubted that a woman could lead entire resistance cells. Others tried to take credit for her missions, erasing her name from reports. Even after the war, her contributions were downplayed by her superiors, simply because she was a woman. When the war ended, Virginia Hall received the Distinguished Service Cross, the only civilian woman to earn it during World War II. But when President Truman wanted to honor her publicly, she declined. She didn't want fame. She said the work was never about glory. She quietly joined the newly formed CIA, serving for more than 15 years. Ironically, many of her male colleagues at the CIA never knew that the quiet woman in the office had once been the most hunted spy in Europe. Some even mocked her limp without realizing it was the mark of a hero. Virginia Hall lived a quiet life after retirement, away from the spotlight, with her husband Paul Goylet, another OSS officer. She rarely spoke about her missions, and much of her story remained classified for decades. Historians later discovered that some British and American reports deliberately minimized her achievements. It took years for the truth to emerge, that a one-legged woman had done what many armies couldn't. She had outsmarted the Nazi war machine. Virginia Hall died in 1982 at age 76. No crowds, no medals, no speeches, just silence. The world she helped save barely knew her name. But today, history finally tells her truth. A woman rejected for her disability, ignored for her gender, and doubted for her independence became the spy Hitler feared most. She didn't need recognition to be legendary. She was the legend. Virginia Hall, the woman who spied on the Nazis and saved millions.